The Renaissance was a reset, a conspiracy to manufacture the current timeline. Asia was largely taken over by mutants by the 1300s. Rome fell in 476, which is actually 1476. This is the beginning of the Dark Ages. The Dark Ages were supposedly from 476 to 1500. In reality, we're in a Dark Age now that started in 1476. There was a major worldwide reset in the 1400s. As you can see, Rome was still buried into the 1930s. This reset was some sort of plasma event that created the post-apocalyptic world that we live in today. As stated earlier, the parasite was working strongly through the slave populations of the world in the 1200s. Much of these slave programs were mercenaries used to fight wars. They usurped their rulers and doctored the historical narrative. In order to maintain status, they wrote themselves into history and whitewashed all the art. These were dishonest people that manufactured false identities. The Gutenberg press was a major tool during this period because it spread the doctored Gutenberg Bible. Europe was mostly swarthy into the late 1700s, especially in the leadership. Much of Europe looked like quadroons, mulattoes, or light-skinned griffes. The Habsburgs were melanated people that inbred until their color broke down. The Castilian royalty is who ran the Moors out of Europe, and they crossbred with the Habsburgs. This gave the mutants massive holdings. The mutants sought to take Italy after the fall of Rome because they wanted to take the Vatican. The same thing happened to the swarthy Brits that got taken over by the fallen Anglos. There were 3 Napoleons. 3 clone mutants. They sought to whitewash Europe and its history through usurpation. This is why we have a constant kidnapping of popes. The popes were swarthy. The people were swarthy. The mutant minority wanted to rule by proxy by controlling the popes. That's why there was the black nobility. So Britain, Italy, and Spain fall in the 1400s and their holdings are taken over by mutants. Throughout this process, the Bible is continually edited for control. Many sections of the Bible are hollowed out by the 1800s. Protestantism is controlled opposition. It was created to destabilize swarthy Europe and divided Catholic and Protestant. The French Revolution, which was a slave uprising, brought about the Napoleonic era, which brought endless reset wars. This consolidated much of Europe's art where it's hidden in France today. These wars reshaped the borders and skin colors of Europe. World War I and World War II were an extension of the Austro-Prussian War. These resets are ongoing. Many acknowledge that the timeline was tampered with. Few realize to what extent it was tampered with. There are no dated or inscribed portraits of Caesar. Major figures like Da Vinci were manufactured. This guy's good at everything. He's like the Dos Equis guy. Da Vinci, Michelangelo, Raphael, they never existed. They were manufactured like the rest of the history. Read this. They don't have their story straight. They just convinced you that they do. The world wars of the 20th century were an effort to genocide and sever Europe from its swarthy and melanated background, getting rid of the last quadroons and destroying many of the old world buildings that destroy their narrative. Even today, they invented nothing. Even CERN was found. It wasn't built.